everyone. Stephanie, aka French Nygma, for Last One on Sport, Pro Wrestling, and 3W Wrestling. First interview of 2026, and I'm delighted to talk to one of the voice of TNA Wrestling, Mr. Matthew Rehwoldt. How are you, Matt?
I am excellent, Stephanie. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to the Nygma Tech, where everything is happening. So, somewhere in France, like everybody knows. There's so much I want to talk about you, your experience as an announcer, because there's so much I think we can learn from you. I always love to tickle Matt a little, Tom a little bit when we were doing press passes, because he was blushing all the time. It was funny to have. I would say there's a big elephant in the room, and I'm not sure AJ Styles would appreciate to be called an elephant in the room. But let's go with that just to start, and because what happened this weekend, we don't know how to process that. And when it comes to TNA, how can we process that? The fact that is it over for him, whether in TNA or everywhere else? What is your opinion on that?
It's tough. I mean, I did get to see it. I got to see the match. Fantastic work as always. Yeah. I mean, it is professional wrestling. I mean, and someone like AJ Styles will always have the eyes of the wrestling world glued on him because of what he's done in companies like TNA and what he's done in WWE. He is an all-timer in any Hall of Fame in the world when it comes to pro wrestling. No doubt about it. So, I mean, look, if he did it, it was him who did it. He put the gloves down and then he put them back on. So he gets all the blame for all the scrutiny he's getting. I'm just going to put that on good old Uncle Alan there. But I don't know. Like, that again, it left a lot of questions in a lot of people's heads. I'm of the ilk that I know AJ Styles as a person, and when he says something, he means it. And so, as far as I'm concerned, he's done. He said he was done. He's done. It wasn't maybe the exact timing everyone thought it would be, but then again, it's wrestling, so the never say never possibility is there. But as a fan, as the little kid inside of me, I don't want to get excited about anything or assume anything. But if he ever pops up anywhere else, I'm just gonna smile because more AJ Styles is good for me in the world of pro wrestling.
Yeah. I had a chance to meet him, to sit next to him, and I was feeling so small. It was a fantastic moment. It will be the third show this week on AMC. We didn't have the chance to talk before, but we have the chance to talk about it after. We have No Surrender coming next week on TNA Plus. Did it change something? The fact of going on AMC, with the fact that you could reach more people, and also people that maybe don't know TNA, does it change the way you approach the commentary? Even if I didn't notice everything, but do you think about that? Like, we have new people that we are able to reach, and we have to do that for them.
Sure. No, and that was a big thing Tom and I even discussed in the weeks leading up to the AMC premiere, is that, like, look, we had to skirt this line, right? Because we will still have a large audience of people following us over who watch us every week for years, right? So, like, we can't treat them like they're idiots, but we also have to assume there's going to be many thousands, hundreds of thousands maybe, of people who see that have never seen TNA or haven't seen it in 10 years or something like that. So we do have to treat it a little bit as a primer, like, hey, in case you're seeing this for the first time, we're not going to belabor it. We don't want to be over explaining for many, many minutes on end, but just in case there are those people who are turning it on for the first time, we have to fit in a little bit of that background, a little bit of who is this person? What have they done? What have they accomplished? Especially both in recent and overall history. So we definitely made a conscious effort to incorporate more of that into the show, especially at the AMC premiere.
And do you feel a difference, because we know the shows are tapped, not always, when you're live, when, like it would be the case, don't want to say something stupid, but for the PRE on or March 6th, is it different the way you do a live show and the way, which one is the most difficult, when it's tapped or when it's live?
Sure. Both have their kind of pros and cons. And I think Tom would agree, we love live. We do love live. You're in, you're out, you're in the moment. I think the energy is a little higher. It's more difficult though, because you have to really be on. There's no eraser, right? There's no chance to go, wait, run that back again. Can I say that again? On our taped shows, so like we do a couple of we'll do like the commercial bumpers, like coming up next and stuff like that. We do that from home in post-production. So like we have chances to, we can cut that out. We can edit this. We can rephrase that. And so there's that advantage, but I love live. I love being in the moment. Again, the energy is higher. Plus my old brain, I am getting, you joked before we started about your age. I am old as sin. And sometimes when we tape out of order, like I have to sometimes like, wait, what week is this? This week 2 of 4, or is this week 4? And then we're jumping to week 3. And then like, thankfully Tom's very good at juggling those things. I'm not. So I love live, and I hope we could do more of it. I think we will do more of it this year than we did last year.
Of course, even if from my point of view, 3 o'clock in the morning,
yeah,
it's a bit hard for me.
You get it on demand. Please don't force yourself to stay up. Just watch it later on demand. That's right.
I just like that. Yeah. It's been nearly 4 years that you have taken the color commentator role. You have witnessed probably the whole evolution of the company since COVID, when there was no one in the room. How can I say that? How do you feel 4 years after? Do you feel like it's the good choice, that it was the right choice to make? Are you happy are you happy of everything that you have seen over the last 4 years?
Yeah, no, it has been an incredible journey. You said it right there. I joined during our first shows where they allowed crowds back at the shows. And that was in that little studio in Nashville, like 200 people. But after, I know, months of not being in front of any audiences, those 200 people felt like a million. It was amazing. But then to see that, then go on the road for 500-600 people as we kind of started getting the brand back out on the road. And then the growth from all of that, as the roster kept getting better and people kept tuning in more. And like, there was this undercurrent of like, hey, TNA is doing some pretty good stuff. Like our PLEs would pop off and people like, damn, this match was great. That match was incredible. This promo was awesome. And just continued momentum. And now what we did last year, selling out buildings, 7,000, 8,000, nearly 9,000 people in some cases. It felt so gratifying. To your point, yes, it felt like this is the place to be. It felt very akin to other locker rooms I've been in, where there was just like this special sauce kind of happening right now, this special kind of magic happening. And that's what I've felt. So I feel very fortunate, very grateful to have been part of this roster during this incredible period of change and growth.
It was a strange moment And it was nice in some way because there was no one in the arena. So we were feeling like we had the wrestlers for us. And I
Sure.
really like that. I lived all this moment. Been writing on TNA for nearly 10 years now, so I've seen a lot of things. Um, let's talk about Tom Hannifan because your interaction, your duo, it's working so well. How do you explain that? You probably may have met each other when you were both in WWE. I was thinking about that, but um, it seems like it it was so easy for you two to work together.
Sure. And you're spot on. So when Tom was the one who suggested that I try out commentary all the way back in WWE. And I'm very thankful for him for doing that. Because originally I wasn't sure if that was something I wanted to do, but he really encouraged me, and I'm so glad that I did and that he did. And so like when I was first starting off, he was kind of like my boss. Ugh, I don't even want to say that. Ugh. But he was kind of overseeing the commentators at WWE at the time. Um, but he gave me great guidance. He gave me great training. And then people like Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness as well, working with them, really helped me fall in love with the art of what we do. So yeah, and then me and Tom did NXT UK together a couple of times. So by the time he showed up at TNA, it was like, oh, again, he was not a stranger in the least. And so when they asked me if I wanted to join commentary because he needed a partner, I was like, yeah. And so that from that very first time we did it, which I believe you're right, was in February of 2022. And the rapport was already there. We didn't have to spend weeks kind of, how do you work? How do you do it? We already kind of had that vibe. So we locked in right away and have just grown ever since.
I love the way he's talking about you. He say he admires you, he respects you, your friend. Like you say, Tom is your mentor for you. I thought it was very beautiful. But I want to talk about when you received the All Star in El Paso. You were both moved, you and Tom, to receive this All Star, which is an award that is given every month by TNA President Carlos Silva. And you and Tom said the same thing. It's not about you. You make you looked at the wrestlers and you said you make our job easy. And I want you to react on that because it's really everybody says TNA is a family, and sometimes people are like, "Oh, wow," but in some ways, that's what you're saying. Everybody's it's true in some ways to say when you say and Tom is saying the same, you make our job easier. We it's not about you, it's the you and Tom, but the wrestlers.
Yeah. No, I mean, we said what we meant. And look, there are incredible broadcasters out there. Like when the wrestling is not good, when the people in the ring don't, you can tell they don't care. I've seen on many different shows in my career. I've been on hundreds of thousands of shows, right? Both independent to WrestleMania and everything in between. And so when you don't feel it in the ring, when the people in the ring aren't feeling it and everything, it makes it really hard for the commentary to like, I'm gonna try to cover up for that. I'm gonna try to make this seem like more than it is because something's not happening in the ring. That's really hard. It's like dragging a rock. But our roster, one, they're all full of so many legitimately wonderful people. So we like to work with them. And then they're so good at what they do that is like, oh, we just look, I don't want to take away from what we do because we're very good, but like it feels sometimes like we just sit back and like it's so good and they're telling good stories. So it's not like we have to shoehorn these stories in there. They're making it known. They're telling it. We are just adding window dressing, adding a little bit of spice, a little bit of flavor here. But they do such a good job of getting the work done, getting the storytelling done in the ring, out of the ring, that we're just there to kind of help move the machine along. And so I love being a part of that roster, a part of that group. And it's one of the honors of my life.
Does it sometimes, do you sometimes want to come back to the ring? Or do you feel like this part of your life is over?
Sure. Well, look, I said it with AJ earlier on, right? Wrestling and wrestlers always say never say never. I have to say that again. It is not in my immediate plans. It is not in my brain at the moment. But for everyone who's wondering, like, I am healthy. I am strong. I am not I am not
I'm
injured.
happy too. I'm
Yeah.
healthy. I'm great. My hand is healing perfectly,
That's
so
right.
everything's okay. Yeah.
So I am not, nothing is stopping me if I wanted to. But it would have to be for the right opportunity or story. It would have to make sense, because as I stand right now, I tell people this all the time. I feel very confident in my abilities as a wrestler, and I always thought I could do more than maybe what was given to me at certain times in my career. But I say this with my full chest. I say this with full meaning. Sitting behind this microphone, I think, will be my lasting legacy in this business. I think it is my true superpower. My superpower, I tell everyone, is making people excited about the things that excite me. And I think that goes back to even the days in Vaudevillains. I think the Rusev Day, like, my superpower came from getting people hyped up about Rusev. Now in this role, I'm getting people to be invested, to care, to get hyped up about Leon Slater and Mustafa Ali, the system, Mike
Elegance
Santana.
brand. The elegance
Yes,
brand. You are
absolutely.
very, very on the elegance brand.
Oh, absolument. Oh my goodness. Yes, of course.
um, and speaking about that, because you were saying what you're trying to say, was there a moment, maybe it was a funny moment, emotional moment, I don't know, something that you remember for forever, like something that really will stick on your, I don't know how to say that perfectly, but a moment in these 4 years when you feel like you were witnessing history or something. Maybe it was something difficult, easy, I don't know. Do
Yeah.
you have a moment in mind like that?
I mean, I'm very fortunate to I've had a few moments like that. No, there's no doubt about it. I remember really, really quickly, uh, Josh Alexander beating Moose for the Impact World title at the time. His son was there, his wife was there. It was a very heartfelt family moment. So being a part of that back at Rebellion that year was incredible. Um, Seeing the return of Jeff Hardy. We were in Chicago when he first came back to the company. It was like, I wasn't even sure that was happening on the show. And it was just like, get ready. We're going to play some music here. I was like, what is happening? And then they played. I was like, oh my God. But most recently, and I think most kind of to your point, emotionally, kind of with emotional gravity, would be the last match, the final table with Team 3D and the Hardys. And I mean, our job is to talk, right? We're to add color, to add flair. But if you go back and watch Bound for Glory and you watch the end of that match, when the Team 3D hands their boots, which I said this briefly, taking the boots off, leaving them in the ring, that's a thing. John Cena just did it with his shoes. AJ almost did it with his gloves, but you almost never see them handed to the opponent. That is very, very special. And you'll notice we didn't say a word because of the emotional weight of that moment. We just let it play out, let it happen. And I just remember being in that incredibly full building and just feeling that energy, feeling that emotion.
yeah, I was doing it live, and I was so stuck, and I was like, oh my God. I saw the first, it was not TLC at that time. It was only Tables and Ladders. I saw the first match in 2020, 2000. I was like, I'm witnessing the last. I said, wow, how lucky I am.
Yeah.
How lucky I am. And that was so cool because we are writing. I'm a writer. I also have to try to say these emotions, but with words. And it was like, oh. The last question, I don't know if Steve Macklin really fired. I don't want to talk about that because it will hurt. But is there currently a wrestler that you really have on the target, you're laser focused on it? You think that really it can become really someone really huge? Of course, there's Leon Slater, that is. But do you have someone in mind that you feel like it can be the future of this company?
Sure. I mean, well, to your point, what the future holds, I don't know. But if Steve Macklin does get another chance to be here, I think he is someone you could pin a lot of the company on. But given who's in front of us right now, I've said this both in character, on screen, but I mean it in very real life too. Mustafa Ali is somebody you could put this entire company on his back. His creative work, his dedication to his stories that he in, his character work. I mean, he's one of the best in-ring performers, I think, on the planet today. And he has such a good mind for storytelling and for the business. So I feel like him having a world championship reign at some point is inevitable. And I think you could put much of this company on his back and he would carry it.
I had the chance to talk to him, and it was fantastic to see how strong he was, how sure he was of himself.
100%.
I talked to Tasha, who was also incredible, and I was like, wow, wow. I like to be surprised. As a writer or you as an announcer, I'm sure we love to be surprised. And we will continue to be surprised watching TNA on AMC, in the US, Sportsnet in Canada, TNA plus the rest of the world. No Surrender, February 13. Yeah. February 14 for me, but
Sure.
on TNA plus. But one thing is sure, me, the French Nygma, I'm here, and I'm not gonna let the company down. And I think it's the same for you, Matt. Thank you so much. It's not always easy to have the possibility to talk to a producer, announcer, whatever. So it was a huge honor. Thank you so much.
Oh, the pleasure was mine. Thank you
But
very much.
we're not going to fight for the pleasure, but the pleasure is mine too. Thank you so much.